Hello, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today on the SportPad with myself, Eugene Tabang Mangani, and my friend Sbuzulu, who is down in the KZN. Today, we're going to talk about the return of the Premier League, as we know that it is returning tomorrow after months of speculation of whether the thing will be voided or not. Should they give this guy, you know? So we're going to touch on that. Touch on the Premier Soccer League. We know that there has been action happening behind the scenes in the Premier Soccer League, and also we're going to talk about the UEFA, who will be having a teleconference meeting for starting tomorrow and ending on Thursday, where they will be discussing the conclusion or how to conclude their clubs and competitions. Smooth.
My guy. Oh, good. Are you good?
I'm good. I'm good as well, bro.
Yeah, man.
Let's just get into it, man. Let's just get into it. We saw what happened in the soccer league on I think on Saturday night.
Saturday evening. Yeah.
Yeah, with all the takeover deals. TTM Takuma Chama Divandela, which is it. It was the team was not in the NFD. The team was down in the ABC Motipin, but was able to confirm the purchase of one of the biggest clubs that we have in South Africa. Probably the oldest club at the moment in South African football. They confirmed that purchase and saying that as from next season, the team will be relocated to Limpopo. What's your take on the whole matter?
Yeah, to tell you the truth, man, I think I was very, first of all, from my perspective, I look at it as a fan, and I'm thinking that, as a Bidvest fan, how can this happen? How can a purchase can be so confusing? Because I think it took everybody maybe less than 24 hours to understand exactly what's going to happen, because there were a series of tweets by TTM Chakuma explaining a few things, clarifying in the process, and that takeover didn't really make sense because we obviously didn't get anything from Vets from Saturday evening, and we were left with a lot of questions. And excuse me, and we're looking at that situation, looking at this Bidvest side that is 99 years old, that has been there for years, one of the oldest and the biggest clubs in the country, being taken over it's like how in fact, not even a Platinum Stars deal was as bizarre as this one. Not even, yes, it was controversial every time Mama Zulu did it. It was controversial, but it wasn't as bizarre as the TTM side. And Swallows, when they did it, I think they took over Maccabi, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't as weird as right now. And I was listening to radio yesterday. I just got the bit of the interview, and how one of the guys from Veds was very disappointed in the manner of how it happened. And not a lot of people know exactly how it happened, but obviously TTM, it's kudos to them because they managed to sort out the business. It's just the manner that they addressed the takeover. Now, moving forward, we know that TTM will relocate Vets to Limpopo. They'll be playing at Toyando. So now there'll be what 3-4 teams in from Limpopo. I think it's 4 as of next season.
4.
Well, that's Baroka, of course. Stay. Nothing happens to them. So there's gonna be 4 teams. It's good for the province. It's good for the Limpopo province. That is always, the stadiums, they are always packed. Whether it's Toyando Stadium or Pitamukaba, the old or new, it's always, a very hostile environment. It's hot, and a lot of people, don't really go out there and find it easy to play. It's a very interesting deal that it has happened over at this particular time, because I'm still waiting to understand if Vets maybe battling with finances or what. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that.
I haven't heard anything much, but you know what catches my attention is these reports coming saying that TTM is is going to be letting some of their biggest earners off the books come
Yeah.
the end of the season, and saying the Gavin Hunt will not be the coach come next season. He must look for another job elsewhere. That is because of the finances. Apparently, they can't afford them. So my question is, why would you buy a team like that while you know that
Hey,
bought,
hey.
the biggest people, the most important personnel in there? I
Yeah.
don't know what on that one, but for me, it's surprising. I think it would have been better if you went and bought another club, maybe a Bloemfontein, Celtic, or something.
Yes. Yeah.
But going after Bidvest the Vet and coming out and saying, don't be surprised if we sell people because we can't afford their salaries. For me, that doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
The sad thing about the whole thing is that the players that I don't think they were communicated to when this happened, and it left a lot of questions for them, and it's very confusing. I mean, I know club captain Tony Tyson Hlatshwayo is linked to Pirates, and Dion Hoto Pirates Sundowns. Then there's I think Munare also might be out. Kevin Hart. I mean, those are the integral personnel of that team. And if you let go of someone like Kevin Hart, who's, I think he's one of the longest serving managers in the country, if I'm not mistaken. I stand to be corrected. And with all those experience, with all that experience rather, and you come into a team that has such people, then you now say that you can't afford to keep him. So now, um, this guy is supposed to look for a new job, and I know a lot of people are linking him to Chiefs because Ennis Middendorp, prior to the lockdown, they were not feeling him anymore. They thought it was a one-horse trick or one-trick horse, one-trick horse, and they now would, and a lot of Chiefs fans are welcoming the news if there would be a Kevin Hunt coming their way. But it's just sad from a Kevin Hunt perspective that he has to now go look for a new team after he's been doing well for Vets, being there. I mean, I didn't see Vets firing him anytime soon because he was always giving his all and making sure that Vets is challenging for titles and other trophies. It's really bad, man. It's really bad.
Let's quickly touch on, something that many people are starting to think that it will be linked to this purchase, which is the sponsorship of the Premier Soccer League. We have heard that Bidvest Vets, together with MultiChoice and Betway, are front runners to be the sponsors of the Premier Soccer League following the end of their partnership with ABSA. Do you think this is possible that we might see Bidvest sponsoring the Premier Soccer League?
That is possible. Looking at how they dealt with the Vets situation, how they decided to sell Vets and to get away, I think it would have been a conflict of interest. I'm not really sure about the rules regarding sponsorship. If you can have a team sponsoring the league plus a team, I'm not sure about the rules regarding that. But I think it's one of their ways to maybe try and get money. Maybe they didn't get anything from Vets. Maybe they didn't get the returns that they hoped they would get. And now that they've parted ways with Vets, they can focus on that. And another interesting part about the sponsorship part. I don't mean to move away, but it's still part of the context. I heard, I think it was last night. If you're watching this, my last night it was the 15th of June. Watching this maybe sometime later. Um, Telkom and Nedbank are also rumored to soon be ending their partnership with the PSL. And looking at how things are going on right now, I know that Telkom will release a statement regarding everything on the 22nd of this month of June. So we wait until then to understand exactly if they are leaving the PSL or there won't be any. They won't have anything to do with the PSL anymore. So Telkom is leaving, Nedbank is leaving, ABSA is gone, and so far we have a league that is going to the pits. We don't know where it's going. Yes, I mean MultiChoice, Betway, and Bidvets are linked to it. But another thing is that if you remember very well, before the start, I think it was of this season, the SABC had a problem with broadcasting this whole thing, the PSL, and when MultiChoice was a sole broadcaster at that time, a few sponsors threatened to leave if they don't put soccer in the free-to-air television. Now, if you find a situation like that, whereby if should a MultiChoice take over this league, what's going to happen with the SABC parts? What's going to happen with the other sponsors? Are they going to stick around to only have people who have the luxury of watching cable TV, watching soccer? You see, there's a lot of things to consider. It's a bit too much right now. We just hope that by the end of this month we know exactly what's going on with the sponsorship and what's going on with the league.
Yeah, we'll just have to hope and see. I think there will be more to come from these stories in the coming days. We'll be looking forward to them. And yeah, don't be scared and don't be don't worry about it. You will have
Before,
right here.
wait. When your thoughts. This is not an interview. This is a chat between me and you. Don't come here and make me say things but you are not saying. Talk. What? No. On a serious note. On a serious note, though, I'm sure a lot of people have their own perspective, and I'll be very much happy to find out your thoughts on the whole sponsorship stuff, upside, and everything.
You know what? I don't really have anything to say on the sponsorship thing because I don't really understand why APSA are leaving in the first place. I don't get it. And with MultiChoice, apparently they're looking to come in. MultiChoice is a part owner of SuperSport. You have Super United in the league as well. You have SuperSport as broadcaster as well. So it's really complicated. I don't really know. You were saying something. I think when we chatted last time, you talked about Sky Sports and Sky Bet Championship.
Yeah, Sky Championship. Yeah,
the Sky Sports United in one of those leagues. Whether League
is
One,
there
League
Sky
Two.
Sports United there?
Oh, no, you don't have a team like that.
Oh.
So I don't know how this will work, but yeah, I don't really. For me, I'm just waiting for things to unfold, and it's really starting to worry, to hear that NetBank and who else and Telkom
Yeah.
Their partnerships with the Premier Soccer League. It's really starting to worry. But hey, you have the Iron Duke there as the chairman of the PSL, and when you have him, you know that things are about to get.
Yeah.
Things will.
I mean, he got Sono's back, isn't he? He got Sono's back. He's a pioneer. That guy. We trust and believe.
Yeah. So, before we run out of time, I just want us to jump into the Premier League, as we know that it is going to return tomorrow. At the time of recording, it is of June. It will be returning tomorrow on the 17th of June. I think it is also Sbu's birthday when the Premier League will be coming back. Flashes, including that of Arsenal and also Manchester City. I don't want us to talk about what will happen in the matches. Who will that we will talk about the other time. I just want us to talk about what because we've been having chats, speculation for the past 3 months or so.
3 months.
People like myself and others saying that the league should be voided so that the other teams should not be. Being honest, Sbu, the easiest thing to do out of all that was to hand Liverpool the title. So the other things were difficult to do. It wouldn't be easy to relegation. It wouldn't be easy to sort out, the Europa League and the Champions League. So what do you think of the league coming back, particularly for those teams that are, in the running for the European places? And also, to start off with, for Liverpool fans, with their team coming back to play, and being able to being faced with the prospect of winning the championship in round, Whereas in the past few months we were talking about them being handed the title. So what's your take on that?
You see, the one of the most interesting things about this whole thing is that I was one of the people who said void the league, void the league. You know, as a fan, of course, as a fan of a Chelsea football club, not as someone who really wants to see justice being done. But Liverpool so far this season have been good. I mean, they've only lost once in 29 games. Come on, and those are runaway champions. They are champions in any season. However, this league could be done, I think, by Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. If should Man City lose to Arsenal when they open, they could wrap up the league. I think when they play Everton, they could wrap up the league, against their fierce rivals, or one of their biggest rivals in the league, which is, it could happen. We have to wait and see. But also, it's for the longest time, I think for the most part of this year, I've always said, when we still had the football, of course, I said the Premier League is no longer interesting because we already know Liverpool will walk away or run away champions, and Champions League spots. The only thing that'd be interesting for me to see what Chris Waters, Sheffield United do, if they could try and squeeze their way into Europe. But also the battle has been at the bottom, of course, on this side. Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Norwich, and Watford also being in the running. Those are the biggest battles. I think right now they have to put everything in the line to make sure that they survive, particularly this season, because they were the biggest advocates of saying, including West Ham. We can't forget West Ham because they started this null and void hashtag campaign. So I think it was Kieran, I forgot her name, but it's their chairman, who started this whole thing. And those 4, 5, 6 teams that are there at the bottom, they have to make sure that they capitalize on the time that was the time that nobody played, and the 5 substitution rules comes into play. Can they use that to their advantage? Can they use that to help them maybe do something, find a bit of change? Like you said, the last time, teams at the bottom, they have to see this season as a new season. It shouldn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what they went through before the lockdown. They have to now pick up or start afresh and play like as if everything is still okay, but make sure that they have to get the results. So, hey, it's very interesting, but also, I mean, it's very nice to see that the Premier League also. I'm not sure if those news are true, that players' names will be replaced by Black Lives Matter at the back of the T-shirts. I think I also saw that on a few trusted sources and publications. So that's another good thing about it. It's nice to see that happening, of course. So yeah, it's gonna be an exciting day tomorrow. Besides it being my birthday, but because of the return of the biggest game or the biggest show in the world.
Yeah, as I was saying, I think I do share the sentiments as well. I think the Premier League coming back is more important for the clubs down the bottom, and also for the clubs those that are going for the European places. And we know that Manchester City are also awaiting the results of their case at the Court of Arbitration for Sport. I think they came out and said the results will be released the judgment will be given on the first week of July. So we should have clarity on whether the likes of Arsenal, Manchester United, Wolves, Sheffield United, Tottenham Hotspur, they will be able to go for the 5th spot as well. Because we know that, hey, should Manchester City be should their ban be upheld, then it would mean that 5th spot is open for the Champions League. And another thing is, talking about West Ham and them, for teams that had this because I think there were 2 teams in the bottom half of the table in the bottom 3 places. I think, I'm not sure who, but 2 of them, they had like 7 home games still left for them. So those 7 home games being taken away from you, because, well, you might not be playing at neutral grounds, but playing at grounds behind closed doors, takes much away from you. And I think, for those teams, it's a loss for them to see the Premier League coming back without without being voided or so. For them, I think it's going to be a harsh one. But the other thing is teams like Manchester City who have nothing to play for, because
Yeah,
let's be honest, Manchester City have to play for because everything is done for them. It's like Liverpool to a certain extent, unless if Liverpool say we want to break, the points record or the win record or something like that. Yes, then that's fine. For Manchester City who are going to play for, basically nothing, is it going to be an advantage for you if you still
nothing.
have the City in the running, in your running, because maybe they might say, let's play. As I was saying, Man City has practically nothing to play for. So I wonder if for the teams that down the picking order, or teams like Arsenal who have Manchester City in the running, uh, I wonder if it's going to be an advantage playing a team like that who has nothing to play for. Playing the teams that are in 10th, the likes of Crystal Palace, because they will practically have nothing to play for. So yeah, I think Sbu, let's just put that one on a hold for a bit. We'll chat about it as time goes on. Let's first see what's going to happen in the opening matches, and yeah, we'll
Yeah.
come back and talk about that.
Yeah, and what since you've mentioned that, it's obviously this is obviously not the last one. I want people to understand that there are other things that we need to discuss. There's cricket news, there's rugby, but this particularly this episode, or this particular video was just to go through all what has happened over the weekend. There's a lot. We all know the Tabang Muruwe, Clive Extian. There's a lot to talk about. But we obviously we'll chat about that in the next time in our conversation corner. And yeah, just people, they must do the right thing, subscribe and like.
Quickly, Sbu, because we are running out of time now. Tomorrow,
Yeah,
again, the other thing going to be happening tomorrow on the 17th on your birthday is UEFA will be holding a telepress conference where they will be discussing the resumption of their club competitions and also their national
yeah,
team competition. And it is being rumored that the Champions League will be staged in Portugal. Apparently, on Thursday, we are here the confirmation from UEFA to say the Champions will be resuming and will be staged in Portugal for the remainder of the competition, meaning that the second legs of, is it the quarterfinals, or not the
yeah. I think it's
quarterfinals?
the last 16.
Yeah, I think
Last
it's the last
16. No, I think
final.
Liverpool already played. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I think we're starting the yeah.
yeah. So the second league quarterfinals that were left to be played will be discussed as to whether they should be played in their original venues. Then starting
Yeah,
from the semi-final onwards, we will have a competition where it's a one leg ties, knockout ties, and then I think it's going to be an 8-day tournament where we're going to see those matches being played in consecutive days until the final
mm,
is played, beginning on 8
mm.
August. Will apply for the Europa League, which is to be hosted in Germany. Remember that the reason why Portugal and Germany are being chosen to host these matches is that they have dealt better than any other country when it comes to the coronavirus pandemic. So yeah, it seems like the Champions League is set to resume on in August. What do you think?
No, I actually have more questions than an opinion. In
Yeah.
regards to Portugal and Germany hosting these tournaments, does it mean that they will have a hub for all these teams where they'll come in and be screened, tested, and then they stay there? Or what are they going to do? Like, are they going to travel when they have to travel? And the countries, according to my understanding, there are countries with travel restrictions, borders are being closed. What is it going to happen? Like with UEFA, will UEFA maybe speak to the government? What's the story if you have anything on that regard?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the Europa League, that would be a huge one to think about, the travel restrictions, because you're having a few more clubs from a few other countries, in the Europa League. But when it comes to UEFA, to the Champions League, you are having clubs that come from places, from countries where restrictions are starting to be eased. And
Oh
yes,
yeah.
UEFA will be holding talks with governments to make sure that the clubs coming into countries like your Portugal and also Germany are given a pardon when it comes to the quarantine times. Because you might still be easing restrictions on traveling, but you know countries are still standing firm when it comes to whoever comes into the country must quarantine for 14 days or so. So, as we saw in Formula One, we saw Formula One talking
Yeah.
to saying that, let's pardon Formula One, but UEFA will have to pay. They will have to pay for that to be organized as well. So yeah,
Yo.
and we will also have more clarity on what happens to the Euro 2020, because that's
Yeah.
another issue as well, and the qualifiers, because I think we should have had qualifiers for Euro 2020. I think the
Oh,
playoffs for
oh
the
yes.
for the qualifiers for Euro 2020 were supposed to be played and were disrupted by the coronavirus itself. So we are still also waiting to hear on that also. So yeah, I think we are still going to get more clarity on that come Thursday.
Yeah. All right.
All
Yeah,
right, all
but
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you have anything to add on that. It's starting to become darker and darker outside this boo, and yeah,
Oh, ish. Your situation
yeah,
on that side. Yeah. No. Uh, no. I think I've clarified the one part that I wanted to put forward before we move on to the UEFA story. But so far everything. We'll continue speaking about other situations. Come the next episode, of course. But so far, until we meet again from my side, showcase.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Make sure to like this video, and also don't forget to subscribe, as Boo mentioned earlier. And another thing, let's just say happy birthday to Sbu. May he enjoy
Hey,
his
sing for
birthday.
me, my good sir. Sing for me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I will sing for
No,
you,
you
my friend.
must. You sing now.
Yeah, yeah. Don't worry, I will sing for you, man. I will.
Okay.
Don't worry. I will sing for you. All right. See you. See you soon, guys. Bye bye.